Hello everyone, my name is Bhushan Gaikwad. This is a group PTP project and I have worked along with Anurag Agarwal. The title for the project is Mathematical Model for Generation of Physical Experimental Parameters for In Vitro Experiment on Fathom of Common Carotid Artery. Before we begin, I want to state that I and Anurag have worked equally on each and every aspect of the project, that is right from the formulation, literature review, plots in MATLAB and documentation in LaTeX. First, we go through a quick recap of BTP1 followed by BTP2. So what is the motivation behind the research? The endothelial cells lie on the inner wall of the blood vessel and their growth is highly stimulated by the wall shear stress. This wall shear stress turns out to be an important property for estimating the possibility of diseases. However, it is difficult to perform experiments without dealing with the ethical situations in case of performing the experiments directly on a human being. So we plan to create an in vitro experiment as shown in the figure here. The left side shows the common carotid artery in a human being, while the right side figure shows a similar experiment conducted outside the human body but yielding similar results to that of the common carotid artery. So we plan to create an in vitro experiment outside the human body. But how do we create the in vitro experiment? What are the parameters needed? For our mathematical model, we take a viscoelastic block with a cylindrical channel drilled in it. The cross section as shown here. The fluid flows inside a circular channel due to the pressure gradients, and the walls of this channel are made of viscoelastic material. We further divide the problem segment in two parts, the fluid domain and the solid domain. For the fluid domain, we consider the continuity and the Navier-Stokes equations with assumptions like no swell velocity, the flow is axisymmetric and there is no body force acting on the fluid domain, the density of the fluid remains constant, the flow is fully developed. We obtain the governing equation for the fluid domain as the boundary conditions are at the fluid-solid interface, the fluid remains stationary, while at the center of the channel, the flow velocity is finite. Next, we consider the solid domain. Taking a linear compressible viscoelastic material, the governing equation is as shown here. Using assumptions like no swell, axial deformation is 0, and considering the axisymmetric case, we obtain the two governing equations in the solid domain as shown here. The boundary conditions are at r equal to RL, that is far from the fluid-solid interface, the deformation remains 0, while at r equal to r0, the solid-fluid interface, we use the stress balance condition. Next, we non-dimensionalize the governing equations using a set of parameters. It is worthy to note here that Hs is a deformation scale, tau r is the relaxation time of viscoelastic material, while Tc is the scaling factor of time. We also introduce a non-dimensional parameter beta, which is the ratio of the scale of deformation to the initial radius of the solid domain. Also taking few other assumptions like the Reynolds number is far less than 1 and the radius to the length ratio is less than 1. We obtain the two governing equations as shown here. The first one is for the fluid domain while the second one is for the solid domain. We observe that both of these equations are coupled. To solve these equations, we use the asymptotic simplification in beta. We obtain the order 1 and order beta pressure term as shown here. Finally, we obtain the deformation in the time domain varying with z, that is along the length of the channel as shown here. However, in vitro experiment, it is convenient to measure flow rate rather than pressure. So we express the deformation in terms of the flow rate, which is given as the input. We also find the wall shear stress in terms of pressure and the input flow rate. After all these long derivations, where are we in our process now? From the governing equations of the fluid and solid domain, using the boundary conditions, we obtain the coupled equations. We then simplified them and obtained the expression for deformation and wall shear stress. Now, we have a mathematical model in our hand, and we plan to validate our model and tune it with in vivo experiments and suggest parameters for the in vitro experiments. We pick up the standard linear solid model, the SLS in Kelvin form, as shown here. to model the viscoelastic behavior. Next, we reduce the mathematical model from a viscoelastic case to the case of elastic material and then compare it with the paper published in 2018, the flow-induced deformation in microchannel with the ion Newtonian fluid. We find that both of these formulations for the elastic case match exactly, thus proving that our formulation is correct. Now, we test our model for two velocity profiles. The first one is the sinusoidal velocity profile. We vary the shear modulus g and the relaxation time tau r and observe the deformation and shear stress plots. For a deformation varying with g, we find that as the material becomes stiffer and stiffer, that is g increases, the deformation decreases, and the wall shear stress has negligible effect with g. As the relaxation time decreases, the material turns more and more elastic, responding quickly, showing high deformation and shear stress. Next, we test our model for the rectangular pulse input in a similar way. As the g increases, the deformation decreases, while the shear stress has negligible effect with g. However, with tau r, the effect is more visible. The deformation and wall shear stress takes less and less time to reach the peak as the material becomes more elastic. Next, we plan to tune our mathematical model with in vivo experiments to suggest parameters for in vitro experiments. Considering the common carotid artery surrounded by tissue, a model of thick wall can be applied. Thus, we try to match the experimental measure parameters like deformation and wall shear stress in carotid artery to that of our model by varying the model parameters. We now plan to create an in vitro experiment for the in vivo experiment conducted by Samiju in 1997. We tune our model and obtain a set of physical parameters as shown here. Using these parameters, we can create an in vitro experiment which should yield similar results that had yielded in the in vivo experiment. Now, we study the variation of parameter g using the inlet velocity pulse from Samiju 1997. We find that the deformation decreases with increase in g and the shear stress almost remains the same. We observe a similar pattern when we further increase the value of g to 10 kPa. For the parameter c, which is the ratio of elastic moduli in the SLS model, when increased from 10 to 1000, both the deformation and shear stress decreases. The parameter A is the ratio of bulk modulus to the shear modulus and is varied from 0.01 to 1. At 1, the material becomes more incompressible, which results in decreased deformation. However, the shear strain is first observed to decrease because of the increasing bulk modulus, but after a certain limit, it increases because of the effect of decreasing shear modulus. Next, we consider the in vivo experiment by Oyer in 1998, which uses magnetic resonance imaging technique to find the shear stress in carotid artery. We tune our parameters again and recreate the in vitro experiment. As Oyer has not given the deformation results, we from our mathematical model can create the deformation results. Summarizing our thesis now, we have a mathematical model which helps to create an in vitro experiment which would yield similar results to that of in vivo experiments. This would certainly boost up the in vitro research on carotid artery and prediction of diseases dealing with response of endothelial cells to wall shear stress like aneurysm and stenosis without dealing with ethical situations and safety issues as in case of experimenting in vivo on a human being. In the future work, we plan to provide in vitro models to recent studies and explore the possibility of expanding our research to other human blood vessels other than the common carotid artery. We thank our project supervisor Dr. Jivanjyoti Chakrabarti for guiding us through this project. We also thank Dr. Anandrup Bhattacharya, Dr. Atul Jain and Dr. Aditya Bandyopadhyay and our HOD Dr. A.R. Mohanty for providing us this opportunity. We thank our panel for evaluating our BTP2 thesis in these unprecedented times of COVID-19.